Hey, Nirvana Mama here, and this is Hairbrush Poetry Jam. And today I'm going to read for you a poem I wrote called Prize Fighter. A few episodes ago, I read you a poem called Made Out of Love that was about Catherine, our first dog. And this week I'm talking about our second dog. His name was Morgan, and he was very special to me for a lot of reasons. We got him just a few months after Catherine. She was 6 months old when he got him. So they were puppies together. And they were really rewarding and really challenging, and they filled a really big part of my life for a very long time. So here's my poem about Morgan. I hope you enjoy it. Prize Fighter. Morgan Lagai. He saved my life. He was born deaf and stubborn, his legs full of might, and he fought every day for more chances to play. He loved dog treats and neighbors and saving the day. He walked into my heart as my life fell apart, and each morning he woke me with kisses and farts. He'd run out on the lawn to see what's going on. He would greet each new day with a jump and a yawn. Then he'd come back inside as I wanted to die, found a spot we could cuddle to sleep as he sighed because I needed love. My heart had lost too much, and we knew I was slipping away in the sludge. If you have the right dog and you're lost in a bog, he can shine just enough to see you through the fog. Morgan shined every day, showed me I could still play, and that visiting neighbors is sometimes okay. He fought hard for my heart. Every day he would start with a wiggle and nudge till my eyes opened sharp. He was stubborn and bright. He fought hard for his prize. Morgan Lagai, he saved my life. Okay, so Morgan was a white boxer. He was a AKC registered boxer, but white is not a desirable color because they often have health problems like deafness and blindness and things like that. And so the way the paperwork officially, basically, like if he had had any puppies, his puppies wouldn't be eligible to be like AKC registered boxers, basically is how that went. But he had the papers and everything. So but we knew that he was deaf when we got him, and we had been doing a little bit of obedience training with Catherine as a puppy. And so we knew that in the obedience classes, they used hand signals a lot. They actually use hand signals first as a way to sort of lead the dog into the trick and then teach the dog what the verbal command means. And so we felt really confident that we would be able to train him with hand signals and be able to still, have a way to communicate with them and everything. And so that actually worked extremely well for Morgan. He was very food motivated, and so he was 100% interested in treats and what was happening with them, and he was really smart, and he learned things very quickly, especially when food was involved. So we ended up doing sort of a combination with him that was like some standard obedience hand signals, and some we used ASL. So there would be like, if we wanted a word like for outside or something like that, I would look up the sign language sign for it, and then I would just repeat that sign and then let him outside, and eventually he associated that sign with going outside. It was kind of like that, where we taught him a lot of hand signals, and we were able to communicate with him really well. He had some other health problems too, but he was a really special dog, and really funny, and he really showed up in our lives like really exactly when I needed him. And I'm going to tell you more about that because it's time for combing through. Bits of books and blurbs and backstory bits. That's what combing through is. We're detangling my life, and tonight we're talking about Morgan. So I want to talk to you about what was going on in my life when I got him, because he really became extremely important for me and for my own healing process. So we got Morgan. It was my last year of college. I was about 23, and we had a lot of stressors involved. There's some other things where I've talked about that, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that in this episode. But what ended up happening was Jesse and I broke up, and he didn't have a place to keep either one of the dogs, so I took both of them. And I had gotten a job. I had just finished college. we broke up like it was like the last month of my college career, basically. It was just, there was a lot going on. But basically, I got out of college and I realized that I had never actually learned how to really take care of myself, like in a mentally and emotionally healthy way. School had been really demanding, and I had basically exhausted all of my mental energy and all of my sense of self, just finishing out school as fast as I could and really being kind of maxed out with that. And so I don't think that I'm the only person who finished college and looked back and realized how like burnout she was. And so what I decided to do, I realized basically that academics and had always been like that overachieving kind of drive had always been the main motivator for everything in my life. And I didn't want that trend to keep going. I needed to stop and slow down and learn how to take care of myself in more ways. And so I started doing yoga, and I learned how to meditate, and I learned a lot of things about energy healing and mental health and spiritual health and emotional health. I just devoted a lot of time to that. I did some group therapy, I did some individual therapy, and I got very into pet therapy. Pet therapy became a huge part of my life because Morgan was such good emotional support for me. He was just always there to cuddle, and he was always, of course, really positive. And I had a hard time connecting with people, and I had an easy time connecting with him and feeling very special with him. And so as I was part of my healing process, I kept doing obedience classes with the dogs and socializing them and doing more training with them. And we got to a point where Morgan became a certified pet therapy dog. And so then we went on visits, and we tried a few different kinds of places, and we were working through a local pet therapy organization, and we ended up deciding on an adult daycare that was a good size location for him and his energy level. And we would go about once a month and just visit the people there at the adult daycare. And it was really amazing because I just felt like I was sharing with them just a little glimpse of what he had done for me, and giving other people a chance to have a similar experience. And they were always so happy when he walked in the door. They were always so happy to see him. And it was just really fun and really special and really rewarding, and it was always a good experience doing that with him. So it really didn't take very much of my time. Whenever I talk about it, people are like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing, like how did you even come up with that? But like it really didn't take a lot of time, and it was just something that I was already sort of naturally headed towards. And he was like already sort of naturally really good at. So there's some people really connected, especially adults with different challenges, really connected with him when they found out that he was deaf, and that he was still, so much a part of their hearts and our hearts and everything. So it was just really rewarding and validating, and it was just wonderful. As he got older, we moved to Milwaukee, and then I just let him retire. So for the last couple of years of his life, we didn't do pet therapy visits once we were living in Milwaukee. But it was just something that he did for me, is how I look at it. And I've only written the one poem about him, but my husband has written a couple of blogs about him and writes about him in his book Normal Street. So the links to the blogs are down below. And I've also put in the link that goes to my episode about Catherine, in case you missed that. That was from a couple of weeks ago. Okay, so there's only one thing left to do. I think like a scholar and spin like a baller, so hit the subscribe if you care what I holler, the bell and the like, and you'll show me some love. My jam is a poem. I don't ask for much because who needs a microphone? I have a hairbrush.